first grade friends. So, for this week's reading, we're going to be reading one of my favorite Eric Carle books. It's called The Tiny Seed. So, we're well into springtime. So, this week's lessons is going to have everything to do with this book, The Tiny Seed. But your first job is just to listen to it. So, enjoy. Here we go. It is autumn. A strong wind is blowing. It blows flower seeds high in the air and, and carries them far across the land. One of the seeds is tiny, smaller than any of the others. Will it be able to keep up with the others? And where are they all going? So there's the teeny tiny seed. You can tell he's smaller than the others as they're floating through the air. One of the seeds flies higher than the others. Up, up it goes. It flies too high and the sun's hot rays burn it up. But the tiny seed sails on with the others. So this one got too close to the sun. Another seed, let's see, there he is. Another seed lands on a tall and icy mountain. The ice never melts and the seed cannot grow. The rest of the seeds fly on, but the tiny seed does not go as fast as the others. See him trailing behind? Now they fly over the ocean. One seed falls into the water and drowns. The others sail on with the wind, but the tiny seed does not go as high as the others. So there's the tiny seed. One seed drifts down onto the desert. It is hot and dry, and the seed cannot grow. Now the tiny seed is flying very low, but the wind pushes it on with the others. There's the tiny seed right there. It's too dry. There's not enough water for the seeds to grow in the desert. Finally, the wind stops, and the seeds fall gently down on the ground. A bird comes by and eats one seed. The tiny seed is not eaten. It is so small that the bird does not see it. Oh, so I think that's the tiny seed right there. It's kind of hard to see. Now it is winter. After their long trip, the seeds settle down. They look just as if they are going to sleep in the earth. Snow falls and covers them like a soft white blanket. A hungry mouse that also lives in the ground eats a seed for his lunch. But the tiny seed lays very still and the mouse does not see it. So there's the tiny seed, there's the mouse. Now it is spring. After a few months, the snow has melted. It is really spring. Birds fly by, the sun shines, rain falls. The seeds grow so round and full, they start to burst open a little. So there we go. The seeds are going to start growing. Now, they are not seeds anymore. They are plants. First, they send roots down into the earth. Okay, so those little, looks like hands, those are their roots. I lost my place. Then their little stems and leaves begin to grow up towards the sun and air. There is another plant that grows much faster than the new little plants. It is a big fat weed. So it takes all the sunlight and the rain away from one of the small new plants, and then that little plant dies. So in room 403 at least, we've talked about weeds. And so weeds can sometimes grow up from the earth, and just like they said in the book, it takes all of the nutrients, that's like the food that the plant needs, and all of the sun and all of the rain away from the little plant, and sometimes they die. They're plants that you want, they're flowers that you plant, sometimes they don't make it. The tiny seed hasn't begun to grow yet. It will be too late. Hurry! But finally, it too starts to grow into a plant. So I'm going to guess that that must be the tiny seed right there, because it doesn't have as many leaves as the others. The warm weather also brings the children out to play. They too have been waiting for the sun in springtime. One child doesn't see the plants as he runs along, and oh no, he breaks one. Now it cannot grow anymore. So there it is. Uh oh. The tiny plant that grew from the tiny seed is growing fast, but its neighbors grow even faster. Before the tiny plant has 3 leaves, the other plant has 7. And look, a bud, and now even a flower. So, what is happening? First, there are footsteps. Then, a shadow looms over them. Then, a hand reaches down and breaks off the flower. There's that tiny, tiny plant we've got there. A boy has picked the flower to give to a friend. It is summer. Now the tiny plant from the tiny seed is all alone. It grows on and on. It doesn't stop. The sun shines on it and the rain waters it. It has many leaves. It grows taller and taller. It is taller than the people. It is taller than the trees. It is taller than the houses. And now a flower grows on it. People come from far and near to look at this flower. It is the tallest flower they have ever seen. It is a giant flower. A tiny seed, giant flower. All summer long, the birds and bees and butterflies come visiting. They have never seen such a big and beautiful flower. Wow, it looks just like the sun. Now it is autumn again. The days grow shorter, the nights grow colder, and the wind carries yellow and red leaves past the flower. Some petals drop from the giant flower and they sail along with the bright leaves over the land and down to the ground. So there's a petal, and there's a petal. I think there's a petal. The wind blows harder. The flower has lost almost all of its petals. It sways and bends away from the wind, but the wind grows stronger and shakes the flower. Once more, the wind shakes the flower, and this time, the flower's seed pod opens. Out come many tiny seeds that quickly sail far away on the wind. And then I bet you could guess that the story would kind of restart with all of the new seeds that this tiny flower, which grew into a giant, provided for nature. So, all of our lessons this week are going to have to do with the tiny seed. So, me and Miss Lind and Miss Fahey are going to be posting more activities and videos. So stay tuned. I hope you guys enjoyed this book.